They look at civic, moral, political values as almost synonymous. And I was wondering whether we can find a way of conceptually breaking them down, separate moral values from... Because our lives and lived experiences involve corruption. One of our lived national values is impunity. Does anybody have a question about that? Now, to say that our national value is honesty and integrity is an aspiration. To live, you said that 78% of the respondents are at least literate, can read and write in some language. But only 29% of the respondents know the symbols of a nation. That means the schools where these literates went and passed through did not inculcate the basic attributes of nationalism or nationness in these literate Ugandans. And it should be surprising that while most of the respondents are reasonably literate, those same respondents do not know the national symbols. Again, the implication for government, for civil society, and for researchers is that the channels of formal education for our society are doing an incomplete job in terms of trying to form Ugandans seem to be neglected, partly because they are not tangible and partly because the actors, especially in government, are working in silos. They are not coordinated. Human Rights Commission is doing its part. Equal Opportunities Commission is shouting from here. Ministry of Local Government is shouting from there. Ministry of Land is dramatizing from the other. Police is doing community policing. And these people are not speaking with one another. One speaks about human rights this way, another speaks human rights that way. But since governments are really formal structures and tangible, it's not difficult to mobilize all those different MDAs and say, we have an education program for this parish. Let's go and educate people about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We have parish chiefs in the local governments, but sometimes I don't know what they do. And community development officers, I hardly see them in my community. Our parish chief lives like 1 kilometer from my home area, and normally I ask them, when did you last have a meeting with the parish chief? Realize that where a parish chief has passed, Equal Opportunities Commission doesn't have to pass, police doesn't have to pass, etc., etc. Because Human Rights Commission is resource constrained and may not be able to reach even the district. Towards conclusion, how do you measure effectiveness of civic education? By looking at the manifestations. Now, there is a problem. When you say that people are doing things that are consistent with the messages of civic education, it may be difficult to tell whose civic education did this. Again, the implication is that practitioners in civic education should not think that when they go and give a message, it is their specific message that has held. You will find NGOs writing reports reflecting that when we went, people's ABCD increased, and therefore we have been effective in our civic education. But the police may have been there, and the Ministry of Local Government may have been there, and the Electro Commission may have been there, and NIRA may have been there. So when people are working as together, it becomes easier to measure the effectiveness of civic education, and the debate and challenges of attributing it to certain actors may not be necessary. Finally, critical national values that are less mentioned. Responsible parenting, constitutionalism and rule of law, patriotism, justice and fairness, democracy, I would say hospitality. Hospitality should, in my opinion, is an aspirational national value. The non-mentioning of these values again shows that there is a lack of deliberate emphasis on using civic education as a channel towards democratic or promoting democratic governance. And this has important implications on the design and implementation of new civic education programs and activities in the country. Otherwise, I thank you very much for the comprehensive report. I believe after this review process, it will be a very useful piece of work. Thank you.